figured that I would do a behind the scenes video for you. I always talk about, oh, I work in theater, I work here, I work there. And I wanted to show you what that entails. This particular show was a smaller group, therefore I could take a camera backstage safely and not, you know, have 1,000 people running around and have a bunch of noise. So what you're about to see is me doing one of the main characters and transforming her from just a regular woman to a 1960s bombshell. And it definitely takes some steps and some hairspray and some bobby pins and a hair fall and all of this great stuff. So stay tuned. You'll see some things. I'll have some commentary on there too, so you'll know why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I hope you guys like it. Remember to like the channel. Remember to subscribe. Ask whatever questions you want. And stay tuned. Like, this is probably like my favorite video because I get to show you guys what I'm doing. I don't look cute. I'm not all made up because when I'm working, like even now, when I'm working, I'm working. I'm not there to look pretty for me. I'm there to make that character or make that person look their best, look how they're supposed to look, feel their best. So stay tuned. It's coming up, and it really is. It's pretty interesting. I'm really glad that I did it. I really am. So this is a 1960s bombshell look that I created for theater. Tell me what you think at the end. I'll see you soon. We are channeling Brigette Bardot. We're channeling the sort of messy 60s bun slash the high pompadour in the front. And I only have about 15 minutes to do this full look. So I'm starting with parting her hair in the center. None of this, honestly, is like, I want to say, not step by step, but it's definitely not like your beauty salon experience. It has to be quick. It has to be efficient. And so right now I'm taking the mid shaft of her hair, the crown, and I am just tweezing the snot out of it. Every night, funny enough, every night her hair got higher and higher. I believe this was not opening night. I think this was the second night. So by the end of the play, her hair was like hitting the rafters, really. But as you can see, she's got a lot of blonde hair, but it is very thin. And so to make it look full and, you know, really believable, I have to really, really tease it. And all she kept saying was, oh my God, my hair is crunchy. You don't hear the crunch. But I mean, when you're doing stage, when you're doing fashion shows, oh, there she is. She's running. She forgot one of her props, I think. This is some of the stuff that you see backstage, like those super quick, you know, darts. Oh my God, I forgot my glasses, whatever. But anyway, anytime you do fashion shows, anytime you do theater work, they really are like twins. They're really brothers in the same industry because the process is the same. It's got to be quick. It's got to be like stage ready. And so, you know, it's not necessarily super pretty. Again, we're trying to get height like this photo that you're seeing now. So I am just really, you know, spraying it. I think she just swallowed some, so she started coughing. But from all angles, I am teasing. And I have to tease in small sections because I really need for it to stay while it's on stage. What people don't realize is, even though this is a smaller theater house, I have done theater at Carnegie Hall. I've done it at a number of union houses where I live, and it is so hot. Once you put, you know, 1,000 people in the seats, or in this case, I believe they have a house of, I want to say 500 seats. When you put people in those seats, it is really warm because the actors and the singers and the dancers are also combating lighting. They're combating character costumes. They are combating the heat of each other. And so that all plays a part in the way that the hair is designed and the products that are used. So although this may look a little excessive as far as me doing this really, really high sort of beehive, it's necessary because even if it falls slightly, which it did not, but even if it were to fall slightly, it doesn't have far to fall because it's teased so much underneath. I honestly thought about like using a bump it or something like that, but the bump its and those hair lifts are not high enough. So I had to just go ahead and do it myself. So right now, as you just saw, I smoothed out the front, and now because I'm going to use a hair piece in the center, I'm making it even higher. Like I said, by the last night, that thing was like Mount Everest on the top of her head. So I just put it into a ponytail here because I'm going to add a hair piece. Like I said in my intro, initially they didn't want us to add any hair pieces, but if you look at her hair, the length of her hair, in order for me to get the Brigette Bardot or any of those 1960s, high hair ponies with the curls, I would have to literally curl every piece of her hair. And there's no time. You only usually have, 20 minutes or so to get it right and get it done. So I had to use something. All I'm doing right now is just trying to smooth out the front. And here is the clip that I used. So I actually this is a human hair clip, and I used this for a show probably about 7 years ago for a different character. But if you notice, it's messy, it's a little gritty like this Brigette Bardot picture is, so I felt that would be something that I could use, safely, and it would still read well with her particular character. But anyway, I used it about 7 years ago. I curled it myself, and all you have to do when you clean it, you can clean it because it's human hair. You just wash it all over again, and then you curl it again. So I did the good old-fashioned hot rollers on the hair and clipped it in, and now I'm going to start the process of smoothing her hair around it and making it look like it's all coming out of her hair. I feel like because her hair was so long, I really did have to pin the sides to the other side to get it to stay flat. That process took a little while. I don't believe we shot all of that, but I do want you to know, like right here, I'm really smoothing out the front. And although the woman that's recording it for me is showing you the back, I'm still making sure that the front pieces stay smooth and don't look messy. But you can see the pony in the back. You see how it's fuzzy, but you also see how there are curls. I picked that hair piece particularly for that reason, so that it gave it some lift, it gave it some depth. If you choose a hair piece and all of the curls are completely perfect, it generally will look like it's a fake hair piece. So that's why I chose something that kind of had like a little bit of netting and matting to it. So it kind of sounds odd, but I used it for that particular purpose. And now I'm just smoothing out the front and making sure that the bouffant thing kind of lays. After that, I actually used a hairnet and I just pinned her hair into the curly hair and then put it in a hairnet so that it would stay. Here I'm starting actually the process of her makeup. So this is the thing that cracks me up. I see everybody is like, ooh, I'm baking. I'm going to bake my makeup under my eyes. That came from this here. The reason that we put the powder under the eyes for theater is because we most times will do the base first. And a lot of times the base is used, it's a pancake base or it's a cream base. So we have to put extra powder under there so that the eye makeup does not fall and mess up the cream base. What I'm using right now on her, because she is a vixen and we wanted to really pull out her eyes, I'm using this turquoise blue eyeshadow, and I want to say I purchased it from maybe a beauty supply store, or it might be from Ben I depotted it and put it into a smaller palette so that it would be easier for me to work out of. But although this looks sort of extra and sort of loud, you will see in the end that it actually looks great on stage, and it really just pulled her eye makeup out. When we did this for dress rehearsals, each night I actually had to do the blue heavier and heavier and heavier because it didn't look sort of trashy enough for her character. So I had to make sure that it was sort of heavy. Now I'm using a Ben I eyeshadow in, I think the color's called Fuchsia. So she had already done, I told her to base her eyes for me. So what she had done is she had put some pink eyeshadow on for me, and she had done like a little bit with her eyebrows for me because I knew I wasn't going to have time to do her base that way. So this pink is going right above the pink that she had already used. Now I'm using a Ben Nye, it's like a crystallized, it's not a pigment, it's like a crystallized powder. And I believe it is in either iced gold or like iced silver. And I'm using that as the highlight on her brow because on stage, it really, really catches the light and you really can see the depth of her facial features. Now I'm going to go in with a cream black liner. And I honestly think that this may be from like Black Radiance. Initially, I was using MAC. I was using Inglot. I was using Bobbi Brown. The problem is that they dry a little too fast for me sometimes. And so they were also very sort of expensive for the budget that I had for makeup, because theater makeup budgets are much lower than other budgets. So I have to always sort of stretch the dollar. So I used the Black Radiance cream liner on the top, and now I'm also using it on the bottom. You might have noticed a few seconds ago I was using a pencil as well. That pencil is from ColourPop, I think. I think it's the black gel liner from ColourPop. I also had used a white liner on her inner eye to really pull her eyeline up. And I also did lashes too. I just didn't record that part. Now I am using a red or like a sort of maroon lip liner on her lip line, and it is Wet n Wild. I used really nice ones before, but because her character needed like that classic red lip, and classic red lip liners are kind of everywhere, I didn't feel it was necessary to spend $20 on a liner. There are times when I have to do that, but in this case I didn't. And her lipstick that I am using is one of my favorites, and I use these for stage all the time. They are Wet n Wild Mega Matte lipsticks. They cost like $3. And I am telling you, they are so pigmented. I love Revlon for Backstage as well. I also love MAC for Backstage. But again, because she needed a classic bombshell red lip, I figured I could do a Wet n Wild and it would be great. Now I'm actually powdering her lips with a setting powder. And what it does is it mattifies it a little bit. And you see I'm just brushing off the excess powder. And remember that powder that we did in the beginning, the sort of loose translucent powder? All I'm doing now is just brushing that off as well, so that her face has a really nice matte finish, because on stage you do start to sweat, so you don't want to go out there with anything extra dewy, because by the end of the show it's going to be totally greasy. What I'm doing now for the high points of her cheeks and for the tip of her nose is using that same Ben Nye iced silver or ice gold. I can't remember which one it was, but I'm just giving her face a lift in those areas so that when the light hits it, she really does look very attractive and, you know, come hither. And so this is her final look. Yes, you see what I'm seeing too. That's called a good old push-up bra. But her character needed to really be like, Brigette Bardot, Marilyn Monroe, and now you're seeing the back of the hair, and you see that it's in a hairnet, and then we just put a little flower in there because we felt that would be something that her character would probably wear. And here she is on stage. So what's amazing is all of the effort that goes in backstage and what you see on stage, and there she is, and all of the men are pawning over her.
So what did you think? If you have questions or comments, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like the page. Make sure you share it with your friends. Follow it. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and they're all the same Moco Makeup. So be sure to subscribe and like, and I will see you guys on the next go round. I'll add some more goodies the next time. See ya.